New York State's computer science and digital fluency standards are a collection of standards that are meant to prepare students for a technology dominated world when they graduate high school. There are a lot of standards in there, but some of the more challenging standards for teachers to wrap their minds around integrating into their curriculum are the computational thinking standards because they use a lot of principles from coding, which can feel very foreign to a traditional content teacher, like a social studies teacher or an English teacher. The purpose of this video is to highlight how a platform like Scratch can help bring these computational thinking standards into the classroom and how you could meet any of these computational thinking standards using that platform and its coding box. So I'm going to focus specifically on a sub-concept of the concept computational thinking set of standards. You can see that there are several sub-concepts over here on the side. I'm going to scroll down to algorithms and programming, which are maybe some of the more scary of these standards because they use words like algorithm and variable and conditional, which are all very specific to the field of coding or programming. But there are some quick and easy ways that we can use Scratch to meet some of these standards. So I'm going to start with this standard 6 and kind of look at it, how it progresses through these different grade bands. So looking right at the K1 grade band, we're asked to follow an algorithm to complete a task. So you can do that in any situation that involves following a set of steps, whether it's how students line up to go to lunch or how they complete a math problem, right? In Scratch, the set of steps that make up that algorithm are very visual. So we can see right away a set of steps and how those steps impact the characters on the stage here. So our goal is to draw a red box around the bat in this example. We have our Scratch cat here, and we want to draw a red box around the bat. So we're going to follow a set of steps to make that happen. And you can see that this starts by clicking the sprite or by clicking this cat. So when we do this, we're going to change our pen color to red, which is good for our goal, right? Put our pen down, and then move around the screen to draw that box by following these steps. So let's see how that works. So you can see right away that the box basically appeared. Now my cat is facing a different direction. All of these steps played out extremely fast so that we couldn't really see it happening. But the goal was accomplished, right? We followed this algorithm, or our cat followed this algorithm or set of steps to complete that task. So this is a really visual way to play with the idea of algorithms and understand them as a set of steps in a way that you can kind of tinker with them to make sure that they accomplish what you want them to accomplish, which is a great mindset to have when trying to meet these standards. Moving up, we see that we kind of evolve into creating 2 or more algorithms for the same task. And the idea is that we want students to understand that there's not just one way to do things. There's lots of different ways to do things, and they all have their own pros and cons. So if we continue with this example, I'll just kind of scroll over here a little bit. Here are 2 different sets of steps or 2 different algorithms that are meant to accomplish the same task. So I'm going to reset there. And now we still have our option to click the sprite, but now we have this second option that when we click the space bar, let's change that to red. We can draw a red box around the bat in the same way. So now when we do this, you can see that this accomplishes that same goal, but it does it slightly differently. So we could have a discussion about which way is better, right? This way was more visual in that we could see the cat actually moving around to draw the box, whereas the first one, it did it so fast that it just looked instantaneous to us. So it was less visually helpful for us to see it happening. So an example of 2 algorithms, 2 different sets of steps that accomplish the same task, right? And moving up, we can compare those and continue to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each way of going about it, right? This is a pretty simple example, but the more complex your goals, the more important it is to talk about those pros and cons. Continuing along, we see design, compare, and refine algorithms for a specific task or within a program. So we're just kind of building on this idea that we can play with the different steps in our process to have an impact on the overall outcome towards whatever we're trying to accomplish. So we can kind of fine tune these algorithms with different blocks to accomplish our goals. And then lastly, demonstrate how at least two classic algorithms work and analyze the trade-offs related to two or more algorithms for completing the same task. This is at the 9-12 grade band, which is really just a more sophisticated approach to taking your two algorithms and comparing how they work and their advantages and disadvantages. So that's a quick example of how Scratch can meet a standard like this quickly and easily. And you could apply this to lots of different concept areas. You could have students create a widget or a little Scratch project for many different activities, maybe an algorithm that represents the steps in writing an essay, or the steps that a character took in literature, or the steps to complete a math problem, right? We have these operators here that are all really rich ways of using different math concepts that you could involve. So lots of ways to incorporate that using a platform like Scratch with visual sets of steps that help drive home that idea of algorithms.